didn't have a ton of opportunities, but played hard. I thought he had good speed. It was got him different spots, drop in, and edge of the line of scrimmage, and so. But I thought that was good just to get him back out there.
And you saw a lot of defensive starters get some plays out there, which again, that was good. That's what I wanted to see. I mean, Elijah Molden, Danico Autry got some time. He was out there. Aziz Al-Shaair was out there. Byard was out there. Landry, as we mentioned, was out there. So Christian Fulton got some time. So it was good to see those guys get some reps. And granted, it wasn't very long. It didn't need to be very long. But to go out there and just kind of get that sweat, and I even saw before the game that Hopkins and Henry were dressed and they warmed up and they got a sweat on. You gotta get your body used to that. And with the heat the way it was, I think that was certainly a good move, for them to go through that. But now it's cut week, and a lot of tough decisions have to be made. Here's Mike Vrabel on the toughest decisions that he has with cuts.
What do you think your toughest decisions are? Most competitive positions where you're going to wrestle with decisions?
I think that there's some, offensive line, D-line, outside linebacker, wide receiver, inside linebacker.
Yeah, pretty much across the board.
How do you like the way Aziz?
You didn't pick up on my joke, Jimmy. These games are important. There's guys that, Stephen Jones has showed up in the last two games, right? Where maybe in practice it was, but then you go out and he puts his, PBUs and keeps doing that thing. Or Anthony Kendall, they told you about the special team stuff that's hard to recreate, and that's been good to see. And the inside linebacker room, there's competition and guys are competing. And, I felt like especially in the second half, guys really started to realize that, these games still do matter. It doesn't matter who we're playing or who's on the other side, that there's certain things that we're looking for at each level.
That was Mike Vrabel on the cuts, and they have already begun for the Titans. We'll kind of go through some of those, but one thing that did come up, and that is the backup quarterback spot. Has he decided who his backup is? We will discuss that coming up next. Chase McCabe, 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can weigh in on that anytime you like. Tune in to 102.5, 106.3 The Game this Saturday for Vanderbilt football. The Commodores will kick off at 6 o'clock at home against Alabama A&M. Pre-game coverage beginning at 4:30, and you can hear it all right here on 102.5 The Game and the Game app and theGameNashville.com.
Whether it's college football,
players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia,
or the NFL,
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader, supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Adult education in Tennessee. It's more than just a diploma. It's a path to a better life. It's a way to help you communicate more effectively. From high school equivalency classes and testing to English as a second language and college prep courses, there's no shortage of opportunities to enhance the lives of you and your family. Adult education in Tennessee. It's more than just a diploma. Go to tnworkready.com to unlock your maximum potential.
Brought to you by Tennessee Adult Education, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
All the big plays.
And we are done. Vandy 24-21.
All the big stories.
I'm sure Vandy will be a much better team if Clark Lee is the coach.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
What a stop by UC Sarah.
Then he wouldn't end up on my team.
Driving his way to victory lane.
I think that's the right strategy.
The Game and the Game Nashville app. Chase McCabe is on.
I am not that guy you think I was.
102.5 and 106.3. The Game.
At this point of the season, preseason, have you seen enough from Malik and Will to know who your backup is on September 10th?
I don't think so. I don't think, as it stands now with Will's availability, and we'll get him back this week. But I thought that Malik took a big step yesterday. Unfortunately, you have the turnovers. But again, there was a lot of cool stuff that happened after that, and I wouldn't say that we were great in front of them. I thought our receivers showed up and did a nice job most of the night. And Malik has to make some better decisions, and then we'll see where Will's at here this week.
There was Mike Vrabel after the game the other night. Now, I will say this, back here, Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. I definitely agree with him on that. I don't think you can – I don't think you have to name a backup, because if you're going to keep both of them and they're both going to be dressed, now game to game, I guess you technically have to name a backup because of the way the quarterback rule is. But, I don't think it's like – there has to be a press conference of he says one way or the other. Now, for me, Malik Willis is the backup today, right now. That can change. But the other place where I agree with him is, he referenced it several times in his press conference of, we got to be better in front. Like, you can tell he's not pleased with the offensive line right now. The offensive line, and I think we all kind of expected this, is not where they want it to be or they need it to be at this point in time. I am really concerned about the offensive line. And I think today and tomorrow and Wednesday, they're going to be scouring the waiver wire and scouring free agents to see who loses position battles and gets released, and if there's anybody that they can get that is an upgrade. Everybody's going to bring up Dennis Kelly. Guys, I think the ship has sailed on Dennis Kelly. If they were going to bring Dennis Kelly back, they would have done it like 3 or 4 times before now. Tim Kelly was here last year too. Why do we think because he's the offensive coordinator and that's his brother that it's automatically going to change? I like Dennis Kelly. He was great to deal with. I thought he was a really good player. He was one of John Robinson's best moves when he traded Dorial Green-Beckham to Philly for Dennis Kelly. Times change. He just got cut. So if he's getting cut, then that tells you that the Eagles didn't have a spot for him. He went back to the Eagles. He was with the Colts. He's been with the Packers. He hasn't stuck anywhere for longer than a year since he left here. And I think he's, 31, 32, somewhere in there. I just think that time has passed. Again, I like Dennis Kelly, and if they wanted to bring him in for a workout and they feel like he's better than what they got, okay. I don't think he's better. I have a feeling he probably isn't at that point. And you've also heard me say, I'm kind of getting tired of this Vrabel going back to, everybody he knows. Let's go find something different. Just find what's better than what you got right now. Because clearly it's a concern to him, and it's a concern, moving forward. So he and Rand Carthon have work to do right there. He mentioned Levis being back out there. He was asked, and I thought this was a good question, if he felt like there was some opportunity lost for Levis.
How much of an opportunity lost is that for Will just to not have had these last couple games?
Well, it's for opportunity for everybody. Some veterans that we played yesterday on defense just to get out there and communicate and get some live tackling and live action. But for young quarterbacks, they have to be able to play in football games, and whether that's preseason games, it's where you develop. So, we got to try to get them ready to go here through practice now.
That was Mike Vrabel on Levis. And again, that's his classic. He's not going to focus on one specific guy. He's going to make it about everybody. I think there was opportunity lost for Will Levis for right now. I don't think it's career defining by any means, but for right now, I think we all expected him to be the backup quarterback and them either to try and sneak Malik Willis to the practice squad or, think about this. If Levis had been able to play in all 3 preseason games and had shown improvement to the point where we're going to name him the backup, then the Titans could have potentially, and Malik Willis played the way that Malik Willis has played and has shown improvement, we could be sitting here today talking about the Titans potentially trading Malik Willis somewhere. Now, they're not going to get – I don't know if they would have gotten the third-round pick they spent on him, but they could have gotten something potentially and having that conversation. Trey Lance just got traded, which we'll get into that. That's a head-scratcher. So, you know what I mean? And now they're going to keep all 3, and they should keep all 3 because, you don't know Tannehill if Tannehill's older now. He got hurt last year, pretty big injury with the ankle. That could happen again, and you just want to have options. And so that's kind of where they're at. But I think ultimately, I'm not going to make any kind of judgments on Levis. I'm not going to make a huge judgment on Vanderbilt after one game when everybody's ready to write the season off. I'm not doing that. Let's just see. Let's see how it plays out throughout the season and what opportunities are ahead of him. Now, Malik Willis, I think overall, my evaluation of Malik Willis is I see a different guy now than I did last year, and I see improvement. Do I see perfection? Absolutely not. Do I think there is a ton that he still needs to work on? Absolutely. Do I think he's a starting quarterback in the National Football League? Absolutely not. I think right now I'd put him in the good backup category. And that could be his ceiling, and maybe it's just the beginning. He comes, I heard the Midday Show talking about this the other day, and I'm always weary of making these kind of comparisons, but I understood, and Willie brought this up, I understand where they were coming from with this. And he basically talked about the offense that Steve McNair came from at Alcorn State. He sat on the sideline behind Chris Chandler for 2 years, barely played until the end of his second year. Now, again, I'm not comparing Malik Willis to Steve McNair, just the situation. And you look at Steve's development and how much he learned in those 2 years before they then, Jeff Fisher, Floyd Reese said, okay, you know what? We see enough out of him. Let's get rid of Chris Chandler. We'll make we'll make Steve the starter. He's ready. Can Malik make that kind of jump? Because it's a similar situation in, even though it's Hugh Freeze, that's a college offense that he ran at Liberty. Different level of competition, smaller school. There's a huge adjustment process that Will Levis has the leg up on him because he played in a pro-style offense at Kentucky. And so there are things that I think Levis understands better, even as a rookie, just, a few months into his career, that he understands better than Malik Willis. And I think that's just because of the offense and because of the situation. But here was Mike Vrabel on Malik Willis's development.
A little bit on Wednesday, but have you liked what you've seen from him, outside of the practice field?
Yeah, I mean, he, keeps progressing. I think that, the arm talent is there. It's, but it's making decisions and knowing that you don't have. I think one thing that you learned, or I saw last night, is Malik was able to speed up his process. Probably a little bit too quick, I think, on the one there to Wiley. But he's kind of realizing that this is game speed. These guys are rushing and, figuring out what's going on and looking and progressing 1-2 and getting out of the pocket. Did a nice job keeping his eyes down the field. So I think that's the thing where Will can get those throws, but that the actual live pass rush, feeling that in practice is going to be different.
So how will Malik Willis continue to develop? That time will tell. But right now, if I had to guess, he's the backup quarterback against the Saints. That's probably what I would say. But Mike Vrabel not willing to make that commitment yet, and I'm okay with that. That one, I'll give you. I agree with. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Coming up next, cuts have begun, and they don't have a kicker. We're talking about the carousel. And I'm probably going to get just as fired up about it now as I did last week. We'll discuss that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tomorrow, 5:35, pregame at 5:20 on 94.9 The Fan. Sounds will take on the Durham Bulls, AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza Company, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure.
They're homegrown in Nashville, discussing the biggest topics in the SEC.
The fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. They've lost to Alabama every year.
The NFL.
What if all the top three quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3? You've got to draft your guy at 2.
And anything in between.
From thinking we know everything to then forgetting about everything we thought we knew the day before.
They're Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow on Outkick's Hot Mic.
Out of the gates, ready to go.
Weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
It is football time here in the Music City, and Superbook Sports is the place to be. You can make your preseason pro bets with Superbook. They are the most trusted name in Vegas. And right now you can use my promo code CHASE, C-H-A-S-E, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. That is my name, C-H-A-S-E. That simple. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who's your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? Don't you sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. They have lines up for Week 1 of Pro. Tennessee plus 3.5 on the road at New Orleans. This weekend, college football, Week 1 officially gets underway. Tennessee playing Virginia in Nashville. Tennessee a 28-point favorite. You can get it all right there on the Superbook Sports app. Just download that app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Use the promo code CHASE, C-H-A-S-E, to get that $250 first bet bonus. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say culture, eat strategy for lunch, because we can strategize all we want, but unless you have the right culture and chemistry in the dealership, it will not work.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Oh, Charlie's, that's where you find me. That Southern flavor got
O'Charlie's, we thought you'd enjoy a little country rock and rolls. The warm, buttery, delicious kind. Served free with every meal. O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack. It is football season. Are you ready to make some money? Fire up and get signed up right now. Go to fatjacksports.com and get signed up today to add disciplined, responsible gambling, and most importantly, winning plays to your betting system. Everything is text to your cell phone or emailed to you. It's going to get you into profit. And always remember, guys, especially early, it's not the betting that she hates, it's the losing. Get signed up today and stop losing. Go to fatjacksports.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hello, whoever it is going to be.
You want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about on today's show? Hit us up on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios on this Monday. Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. We'll talk to Jonathan Hutton from Outkick at 10:30, get his thoughts on Titans roster cuts, the final preseason game, and where they go from here. But right now, they don't have a kicker. They kind of did what we all thought they would. And Michael Badgley basically kicked for the game Friday night, and then they cut him. And I didn't expect him to make the roster at all. We'll see what Mike Vrabel, if he has to say anything about that today. He'll speak at 11 o'clock, and then the locker room will be open. But they're off tomorrow. Tomorrow's cut day. Cuts will be released just after 3. Nothing on Wednesday, and then Thursday they're back at it. We'll hear from Ran Carthon on Thursday at 9:45, so we'll bring that to you during this show, as well as Mike Vrabel at 10:15. So kind of that start of the season press conference, and they'll have their 53-man roster for the most part set at that point. Obviously, there's always some tweaks here and there, before they get the season started. But cut yesterday, Michael Badgley, as we mentioned, Alonzo Davis, who's a defensive back, wide receiver Gavin Holmes. I thought Holmes, like of the guys that you didn't really expect to do anything, he was like, I knew he wasn't going to make it. I mean, they're going to have some tough decisions. Like, I think we'll get to that in a second, but I think there could be some surprises that end up making the roster. Zach Johnson, the tackle, center Jimmy Murray, and then tight end Justin Rigg. So what do they do at kicker? I feel like it's going to be one of these guys that's been in a battle, like New Orleans has a battle going on. Now, I think I've seen out there that if they go with the other guy, that Will Lutz, who's been their kicker for a while, that Sean Payton wants him in Denver. And so there's a chance that maybe a trade is swung there or something that they could get an asset for Will Lutz. But, I mean, if Will Lutz ended up being available, I'd take Will Lutz. I think Will Lutz is solid. You got Nick Folk and another guy in New England that there's a battle for. So I think they're going to end up with somebody that's in another camp right now that's going to lose out, and it's just you don't carry two kickers. You know, that's just kind of what it is. So I kind of feel like that could be the situation there. And then if you don't end up with one of those guys, then obviously you have Mason Crosby that's out there, that's here. He posted yesterday. He was out at Brentwood High kicking. So he lives in Nashville, and so he is available. He's 38 years old, but I think still solid. You got him. Randy Bullock's still available. Robbie Gold's still available, and he's like 40. And then Ryan Suckup is still available. Now, you know, people have brought up Suckup quite a bit, and I love Ryan Suckup. But looking at the numbers the last couple of years, I don't think that's the direction I want to go. So that's me strictly on a stats standpoint. But once again, we're sitting here having the kicking carousel conversation. And that's why I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that one of these guys they land, they can go, all right, we're good. We're good for the next 2 years. Like, not just this year. Like, we're good. Like, if you land Will Lutz, sign him up. You know, let's just ride with Will Lutz for a couple of years. That's fine. I'm good with that. Let's stop this whole carousel thing. But right now, we're going round and round and round and round on the kicking carousel. And it's absolutely crazy to me that we're still having this conversation. You know, last week, I kind of went off on it because I knew this was going to happen. Again, this was one of those like, nah, we got to figure it out. Just trust us. Don't worry about it. We got this. We know what we're doing here. And not only did you cut one of them, you cut both of them. And Jared, I mean, I'll give Jared all the credit in the world. Now, I think we all kind of saw it, but Jared was one of the first to say it. Like, yeah, they got kicker figured out. It's not either one of those guys. They're going to cut them both. And sure enough, they did. And then Badgley comes in, and Badgley sucked on his first day. I mean, they hadn't even officially announced him yet. He had just gotten out there, and we're sitting there watching him going, oh, boy. Like, oh, boy. And then, you know, he plays the other night against New England. I mean, look, he was 3 of 4. What was the one he missed? It was like way beyond 50.
Yeah, it was like a 52, 53,
somewhere in there,
something in that range.
He hit a 44, you know, so that was good. So I mean, he was fine, but I never expected him to be the kicker day one. Like even Vrabel said that like, yeah, we're gonna evaluate him. We'll probably bring some other people in too. So I do kind of wonder if all along, and you know, like. The whole thing all along with DeAndre Hopkins was they kind of felt like, yeah, we got him. We're going to get him. This is going to help us here. That if that's just kind of been their plan of they'll see who loses a kicking battle somewhere else, and that's what they'll end up doing. And that's probably what's going to happen. Henry on our text line says Titans should bring in 10 kickers, start at the 40, move back a yard each kick, and as each one misses, they're out until the last guy. Let's just have an open kicking competition for the Titans. I mean, at this point, what do you got to lose?
They take walk-ups. I'm ready.
I know Nashville SC kind of needs him, but what about Sam Surridge?
Hey,
Super Sam? Could Super Sam come in and kick?
There's a reason why he has a nickname Super Sam. He's got that leg.
Yeah.
Just send it to the moon and back.
What about Jamie Watson, our buddy Jamie Watson? He could still do the broadcast thing and kick on Sundays.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that work. I
believe in Jamie.
Go to camp or practice once or twice a week. You know, kick on your own time. It's all doable.
Did you guys do that? Like in high school, you know, it was a smaller high school. My junior and senior year, our kicker was a soccer player.
Yeah.
I mean, he played a little receiver, but he was mainly a soccer player.
Yeah, we actually, when we would go to camp off of campus, we'd go for our 2-a-days or whatever. It was my senior year, and our kicker at the time was having this big just head case problem, couldn't seem to really dial in his kicks. So our coach thought it was the funniest thing to probably not the funniest thing, but at the time it was pretty funny to me. Had like 6 or 7 guys. Some of them were linemen. Some of them were wide receivers. Who can punt? We all lined up. Who could punt? There was like 18 to 20 guys out there trying to punt and kick. And every time somebody was shanking, he goes, next. And then he goes to our kicker, you see, now this is why we need you. So I feel like the Titans need something like that. They need to be able to just kind of make some joyful fun out of it, but at the same time have a kicker there be like, hey, This is why we need you. Dial in. Let's see if you can finally make some kicks or not.
I mean, the text line's having fun with this. Greg says, where's Gary Anderson when you need him? He's only 64. That would be awesome. 64-year-old kicker. Texter says they're going to wait until week 2, so salary is not guaranteed. I've been saying that too. Like, I could see them doing that. But if that was going to be the case, then why not just roll with a Shudak or a Badgley that you're not paying a lot and then cut them? But they already went ahead and make the cut. And that's because I think there's somebody they have their eye on that's probably going to lose out in one of these competitions that they feel comfortable signing to a deal where it's going to guarantee him for this year and maybe beyond. That's what I've started to think now going through this process. I agree with you. I thought that's what they were going to do the whole time, is that they were going to basically ride it out through the first week and then sign somebody like they've done in the past where they don't have to guarantee the salary. And they could potentially still do that, but I don't think so at this point. It's gonna be interesting. Let's bring back Steven Gostkowski. He's done. No. What? Wes in Clarksville. Trade Henry for Justin Tucker. Yeah, okay. Burn the town down. That's what would happen. My goodness. Henry, is Gus the kicking mule and Don Knotts available? Oh, that's a good one. See, I bring up kicker and the text line blows up. It's amazing.
And people say they don't care about special teams.
I know. Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, he can kick. That's not bad. So Trent says our high school kicker my senior year was a standout soccer player also. A lot of stuff on the kicker. So who knows how that's going to turn out if they do, in fact, go and bring in a kicker. At this point, I would try and find one now. And if you got to pay a little more to know that you're going to get a good guy and get a good kicker, I would rather do it now. That's what I would do. So what the Titans end up doing, who knows? But I hope they figure this out and we're not having to do shows on a Monday going, well, they lost the game because they can't figure the kicker out. I really hope that isn't going to happen. We'll get back into the Titans coming up in just a little bit. Also, Vanderbilt getting their first win under their belt this year. But coming up next, there's a big wrestling event in our city tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk to Kerry Morton of the National Wrestling Alliance coming up next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Tennessee, when you bet on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town, you get the best reward possible. Cold, hard cash. You bet with your own money, so why accept anything less from your rewards program? With Zen Sports, you earn cash on your bets, cash on your referrals bets, and a welcome bonus in, you guessed it, cash. So stop settling for Vegas rewards when we're in Tennessee. Cash in your old sportsbook for Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Men, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, our urologists and providers have been helping guys with erectile dysfunction and other sexual health issues for years. And unlike some, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we take a comprehensive approach to your sexual health. Our sole focus is to treat ED and related conditions. ED can be affected by a bunch of things, from hormones, prostate issues, medical conditions, and even simply aging. The fact is, most guys experience it at some point in life. If you're suffering with ED, it's extremely important to see a provider that understands how your medical conditions, hormone levels, and other factors can impact your ability to have sex. That's why you should come to the Tennessee Men's Clinic, where we have treatments that are effective in nearly 90% of cases. I can't tell you how many guys we've seen that thought their situation was hopeless, only to be wildly surprised. So give us a call today. We'll do some blood work with a T-check and a medical consult to give you the best shot at success. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices, Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is your dentist. Do me a favor and feel the front of your teeth. How grimy are they?
Ugh.
It's time for a Crest Pro Health reality checkup. That grime is the buildup of plaque bacteria that can cause cavities in just months. You need to switch to Crest Pro Health. While most toothpaste stop working in minutes, Crest Pro Health's antibacterial fluoride protects for up to 12 hours to stop cavities before they start. So pick some up on the way home. Smile. Crest has you covered.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
The suit is in the building. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Coming up tonight and tomorrow, Skyway Studios here in Nashville. NWA Power, their TV tapings, NWATix.com. is where you can go for that as the National Wrestling Alliance returns to Nashville. We've been telling you about that. We had Billy Corgan on last week, and now we say hello to one of the wrestlers. Kerry Morton is on the line with us. Kerry, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Doing wonderful. On the way to Skyway Studios for 2 ecstatic days of NWA Power. What an opportunity it is to come back to Nashville.
So what was it like being at NWA 75 in St. Louis? 2 nights there. I know with your family and the history in pro wrestling, had to be pretty cool to be a part of that.
Listen, I got to tell you this. Kerry Morton showed up and show out, as I always do. And night 1 and night 2 of NWA 75 were sold out. Really, really awesome crowds, super energetic. I think, in my own opinion, the best pay-per-view that the National Wrestling Alliance has ever put on. Just such a good show all the way around. You know, I had my crew, the Southern Six, Alex Taylor, Silas Mason, and Kerry Morton were very successful this weekend, alongside my father, WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton. So huge success on our half, and more to continue with today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and for you, it wasn't an easy match by any means, going up against Matt Cardona, who's very well established in the wrestling industry. So what was the key in your victory over him?
So listen, the key to beating Matt Cardona. Let's talk about Matt Cardona real quickly. In the WWE for 16 years, on top of his game, one of the biggest free agents in all of professional wrestling steps inside my wrestling ring, the NWA. I am the face of the NWA, as we know already. So, you know, he came into my ball field. So my strategy was obviously to beat him and then make a mockery of him, and that's exactly what I did. I beat Matt Cardona square in the ring with his shoulders pinned to the mat for a 3 count. Got my arm raised real high with my best friend Alex Taylor. We celebrated big, and now we're on the way to go do more victories, to have more victories on our half with today and tomorrow of NWA Power. So all the way around, you know, I could continue to talk about myself. Matt Cardona was a great competitor, but he's no Kerry Morton.
Kerry Morton is with us, National Wrestling Alliance, NWATix.com, to get those tickets to NWA Power tonight and tomorrow at Skyway Studios. You mentioned your father, Ricky Morton, WWE Hall of Famer, that has been there with you. What's it like being able to now go through your wrestling journey but have him by your side?
It's incredible, genuinely. You know, it's my father. He's not only my father, but he's my best friend. So we get to share this wrestling ring. we know each other like the back of our hand. When it comes to this business of professional wrestling, whether we're tag teaming or he's my manager or I'm his manager, we pick up the pieces and we keep on rolling. So we've had a lot of success here recently on the independent of professional wrestling, winning tag team championship gold, and hopefully in the foreseeable future, my father is a 9-time NWA World Tag Team Champion, so we can hopefully make that 10 with a father and son duo, Ricky and Kerry Morton, the Mortons, holding the NWA World Heavyweight Championships for the tag team gold.
How much advice does he give you, and how much does he kind of let you figure it out on your own?
There's so much advice. I got to talk about this real quickly to an edge of the NWA locker room. Not only do we have my father there, but we have legends in the background. Billy Corgan is really modest about continuing our legacy and having our heritage shown in our shows. So we have Austin Idol, we have Dr. Tom Pritchard, we have Joe Kazanas, we have Ricky Morton in the background, we have Jazz, Rodney Mack, Tyrus. We have all these veterans in professional wrestling that helps us young guns get out there and improve our game and get better in that squared circle and make a name for ourselves. And there's times that we fall and we crash, and there's times that we get to celebrate. And those guys they support us along the way. So I could not say anything better about the NWA locker room and the talent that we have in there.
You mentioned Kerry Morton is with us. You mentioned wanting to capture the tag titles with your father, and that would obviously be a huge accomplishment. But what about the 10 pounds of gold, one of the most historic belts and prizes in professional wrestling? When could we see Kerry Morton challenge for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship?
You can absolutely bet that Kerry Morton will be challenging for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Last night, our friend EC3, Ethan Carter III, beat Tyrus in a 15-minute scramble almost in a full rope match to become the new victor of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And right there, he's on the top of the food chain. He's on the highest point of the mountain. And now he has to look down upon us young and scrappy professional wrestlers that want that championship around our waist. So you can bet on Kerry Morton challenging him for that championship in the foreseeable future and going to win it. Because, I got to tell you this right now, Kerry Morton does not lose. Kerry Morton does not let his back hit the mat for a 3 count. So it's something that I'm very eager, and I can continue to talk about it. But right now, I got to climb my way up the ranks. I just got away from the junior heavyweight division, and now I'm in the heavyweight division. So, if that being said, I got a big ball game to play. But you'd obviously know that I'm going to score a home run.
There is no doubt about that. NWA Power tonight and tomorrow. Skyway Studios, NWATix.com is where you can get your tickets for that. Kerry, best of luck tonight and tomorrow, and congratulations on the victory last night. Thanks so much for doing this today.
Well, we appreciate it, and let us know. Let's comp you some tickets, and let your friends know, and let all the guys in the studio know that we're going to comp them some tickets. Come out and watch us. Let the crew that's listening come and support the National Wrestling Alliance. We would love that. We'll comp you some tickets, get some cool merchandise, meet the wrestlers, and most importantly, have a good time.
There is no doubt. I know it will be a good time for sure. Best of luck. Talk soon.
Soon.
Kerry Morton joining us, NWA Power, tonight and tomorrow, NWATix.com for your tickets. I've been to an NWA show. They're fun. I mean, they're a lot of fun. Did NWA 70 here in Nashville, I guess 5 years ago now is what it's been, at the old sports arena before they built Geodis Park, and they know how to put on a good show. That is for sure. He wasn't lacking personality, was he?
Not at all.
I love that. See, I never know with these wrestling interviews, like, are we going to am I talking to the person or am I talking to the character? And there was a little bit of both in there, which is cool, because I like it when I interviewed Jeff Hardy one time, and they told me beforehand, like, hey, he's going to take it wherever he wants to take it. And that was when he was doing the Brother Nero thing. And so we would, we were kind of talking, and he's Jeff Hardy, and then all of a sudden he would kind of morph into Brother Nero, and it was cool to kind of go along with it. And, it just depends on, the person. Like Roman Reigns has been in here before, and he's been basically Joe, and talked about his career with a little bit of Roman Reigns. Dean Ambrose, it was kind of the same thing, but cool to have Kerry on. But again, NWATix.com is where you can get your tickets for that. Coming up next, Vanderbilt was on the field Saturday night, I almost said Friday. Saturday night, I was there. Some observations in their win against Hawaii and maybe some work that they have to do moving forward. We'll do that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's a long summer. But don't worry. Hockey will be back soon. You'll hear every slap shot, save, hit, and of course,
Knocked down in front, rebound, and a score!
On your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. Is it October yet? All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier with your Game Center update. The Vanderbilt Commodores opened up their season versus Hawaii over the weekend and won 35-28. Quarterback A.J. Swan threw for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here was head coach Clark Leak after the win.
See a certain style of play for an entire 60 minutes, and I felt like we weren't able to do that tonight. And for whatever reason, game day is hard. It's a challenge. That was a good opponent that was fighting hard, and they made it challenging on us. So we got to learn from it, but certainly I was pleased with the fact that we got through the weather delay, that we came out and we started strong, and there's a lot to build off of from that.
Tune in tomorrow to 94.9 The Fan as the Nashville Sounds are back in action versus the Durham Bulls, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Nashville. The suit is in the building. Acknowledge me. Are you ready? Ready? This is Chase McCabe on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hope you're having an awesome start to your Monday, to your week, as football is here. College football kicked off this weekend, week 0, a limited schedule, as we know. But I will say this. I think the tone has been set for me because I won my first bet of the college football season. And that is always just a great feeling. Took the under in Notre Dame Navy. A little bit of a sweat there at the end, but I kind of felt like, all right, we're good, 49.5. I think we're going to be fine, and we were. And so appreciate the Irish and the Naval Academy for helping me out there. Getting it done, cash it, getting it done in Ireland. A boring game. Sam Hartman looked good, though. I mean, he looked the part. He definitely looked the part for Notre Dame. So they get a huge victory. But then had some other games that, were okay. Like, just kind of wet the whistle, as you said earlier, Nick. And then Vanderbilt took on Hawaii that night, Saturday night at First Bank Stadium. It was the debut of Vanderbilt's broadcast here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. So we were very excited about that, to have everybody on board. I went to the game. There was a delay, a weather delay, and I will full disclosure, I will admit that I did leave at halftime because I'm just showing old man status now, and I was like, I'd kind of want to go watch the rest on the couch, and that's what I did. And but I thought the crowd, I heard Joe Rexrow talking about this earlier. I thought, considering the delay and everything, and yeah, it's a little different getting in and out of there because of the construction. I mean, you have to. It depends on what side of the stadium you're sitting on. You can't go in just any entrance anymore. And so you kind of had to navigate that a little bit. But overall, I thought it was fine. It's going to be cool when they get all that stuff done. I will say that. Like sitting there in the stands and kind of looking at both end zones, and then they kept showing the pictures of what it's all going to look like, kind of helps you get a visual. I think it's going to be really cool. And anybody, just mini rant for a second, that I have heard people complaining about the construction and like making fun of Vanderbilt for the construction. And I'm just like, shut your mouth. They're doing it. They're doing something. These are the same people that for years complained that they needed to do something. Well, now they're doing something. So back off, chill. It's a part of it. There are stadiums all over the country that are having things done to them right now. I think I read Texas is doing something, in Austin. So, I mean, it's a part of it. You can't, this just doesn't happen overnight. It's not like The Sims where you can build it in 5 seconds. Like, come on. It takes some time. So let's back off a little bit and let them do their thing and get the stadium done, and they will. And I think it'll be really cool. And they're doing this whole Vandy United thing all in phases. We'll see even more, but I think it'll be really cool when they get it done. Now let's talk about the game. 35-28 was the final. Vanderbilt got the win. And Vanderbilt, started off. Special teams really played a role in kind of the early stages of this game, but Hawaii didn't go away. Braden Schrager, their quarterback, threw for 351 yards. I mean, he was slinging the ball all over the field. I mean, 35 attempts by him. Now, A.J. Swan had 30 attempts, 258, 3 touchdowns. I thought Swan looked fine. I thought the receiving part of things, I mean, Jaden McGowan was awesome to watch him. He had 6 catches, 72 yards, including a 32-yarder. Will Shepard looked good. The run game is what concerns me when it comes to Vanderbilt. You had that one long run from Patrick Smith for 21 yards, and then he ended up with 30. So they couldn't really get much going in the run game overall. And they're going to have to do that if they want to get to a bowl game and they want to win some of these games. That's just the bottom line. And, the thing that I kind of noticed and I kind of felt was that first game of the season, it's week 0, spotlight's on you a little bit. There was a delay, so you kind of got knocked out of your routine. And the fact that you had beaten the absolute crap out of Hawaii last year, was there a little bit of a maybe overlooking, so to speak? Clark Lee, after the game, talked about if he felt his team took Hawaii seriously.
Between the penalties and the blown blocking assignments, the onside kick and stuff like that, do you think your guys took them seriously enough as a football team?
I felt like the way we started, I think if you look at the game, the first quarter and the third quarter, I thought we played strong. The second and the fourth, I thought we left ourselves exposed for them to take ground. And, there's a lot that goes into that. I think we want to be obviously a cleaner team than we were tonight and a more mature team than we were tonight. but I don't believe that, it's game one. It had nothing to do with our lack of respect for Hawaii or in any kind of lack of intention in our preparation. I think it has to do with just growing into being a good team. And good teams are consistent. They're consistent in their execution. They're consistent in their energy. And we're not there yet. And, we were fortunate tonight that we were better than our opponent. But, we're all disappointed because we know we can play better. And, again, we celebrate wins, but I was reassured, as we were kind of meeting as a staff before meeting with the team, that the team sees it the same way. This is not about, beating the opponent. This is about trying to find our highest level. And we didn't have it tonight, and we got to find it pretty quick here.
That was Clark Lee, Vanderbilt football coach. And I agree with that. I mean, a win's a win. You'll take it. You're 1-0 to start the season. I'm not going to change my view on things based on just one game, the first game of the season. But there are definitely some things that they got to work on this week. And, Vanderbilt is not in the and Clark knows this. I've heard him say this, that they can't be in the category of gimmies and thinking that they got gimmies on their schedule. They have winnable games, but to me, they don't have gimmies. Like this week, okay, yeah, they should probably beat Alabama A&M. But you got to go play. You got to show up like you are the SEC school and that you're at your place and go out and take care of business. And I think that Clark Lee has a lot of teaching tools at his disposal this week that are going to be good, that he can use to teach his guys and say, hey, I don't care who we're playing. To me, the big test for them is going to be week 3 when they play Wake Forest. And this isn't the same Wake Forest. Obviously, we just talked about Sam Hartman. He's with Notre Dame now. This is a different Wake Forest. To me, that's a winnable game. You can go to their place and win that game. They came here last year and they beat you. But you can go there and win that game. But you got to play to your best. You can't have some of the mistakes you had against Hawaii and get away with it. You just can't. So that's why these first 4 games, to me, are extremely important for Vanderbilt, because if they start the year 4-0 or even 3-1, but 4-0 would be the ideal way to look at it, then you have to feel pretty good about your chances of making a bowl game, because you got to find 2 more wins somewhere. And I think they're there. But, I heard on the morning show on Robbie and Rexroad, there were people texting in, getting Joe all frazzled, which is always entertaining. If that Kentucky and Florida kind of laid down, that they'd given up at the end of the year. I don't buy that. I mean, I don't think Will Levis was laying down. Like, if you go down to the Titans and you ask Will Levis today in open locker room, like, hey, do you feel like you guys were laying down against Vanderbilt last year? You'd piss him off. I mean, he'd look at you like and probably want to knock your head off. Like, I don't think that. I don't think Anthony Richardson thought that. Anthony Richardson had a pretty good game against Vanderbilt. I think those were hard-fought, earned wins. Now you got to build off those and take those into this year. And now that you have proven that you can win in the SEC. Clark Lee also talked about the defense, because the defense is what really concerned, the run game and the defense is what concerned me. He brought up the biggest issues that he saw defensively.
What did you think were the biggest issues defensively with allowing so many deep passes?
There's a few. Obviously we got the last one there that kind of set up the score was Savion Riley on a vertical route where he's got to be on top of it, and so that's that simple. I think the ball got behind BJ once for a touchdown, and we'll look at that, and I'm sure there's a win early for him there. It's also a pressure situation on 4th and 4, and so he's taught to protect the sticks there, thinking that it's going to be a short route, and they converted and went vertical, and our blitzer ran into the D lineman, so we weren't able to get the pressure, and that's sloppy play. That's not executing the call, and so there's going to be plenty to scrutinize both in the coverage and in the rush, but yeah, I mean, we'll be better, and that'll be the worst we play as a team, in our first game. Some of the other the throws early in the game were just a matter of us staying on body and, the quarterback escaping the pocket and guys coming out of coverage. Like, those things to me are things where we have to be a little more coordinated, a little better structured. And when we do that, we'll be in good shape.
Clark Lee, Vanderbilt head football coach on defense. So, again, if they clean some of this stuff up, then I'm going to feel better about it. You get another chance in now week 1 against Alabama A&M to clean some of this stuff up, and they'll do it during practice this week. Like I said, I'm not going to overreact to anything from the first week, especially with some of the circumstances of you kind of get thrown off your routine and delayed for a couple of hours and all of that. But I got to see more. I definitely got to see more. And so we'll see what happens. Clark Lee will join Caroline Willie and D-Mace tomorrow, I believe at 1 o'clock. I need to double-check that. Bad on me. And 7:30 on Wednesdays with Robbie and Rexroad. So get more out of him throughout the year, as he will join every week. But nonetheless, Vanderbilt 1-0 to start the season. Tennessee opens their season this week against Virginia. So at Nissan Stadium. So really looking forward to that. And also we're excited because we'll actually have that game for you with Virginia's broadcast starting at 11 o'clock on Saturday. So looking forward to having Virginia Football Radio Network on for the Tennessee game with us starting at 11 on Saturday morning. Coming up next, back into the Titans. And how much do we trust Mike Vrabel going into this season? We'll discuss that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robbie and Rexroad, 6 to 9.
Big time performance, best part of the team.
Chase McCabe, 9 to 11.
An unrestricted free agent.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace, 11 to 2.
Got the big contract.
The Velvet Touch.
Talk about Hall of Famers. And Stillman and Company, 2 to 6.
Kept going for it.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Smashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey everyone, this is Nick Frazier here at 102.5 The Game, and I'm here to tell you about my favorite sport booking casino, BetUS.com. Football is back, and that means it's time to lay down your bets. I only endorse one sport booking casino, and that's BetUS.com. They're celebrating their 30th year of sports betting service with a special offer up to 30 risk-free bets. That's right, 30 risk-free bets. It's called Bet Protect. BetUS.com is also offering a 125% sign-up bonus, a massive 200% crypto sign-up bonus, and a 250% casino bonus. The game always gets more exciting with the bet, but you can also take it to another level. Go to BetUS.com's live in-game betting. Take advantage of their 30th year offer up to 30 risk-free bets. Get Bet Protect. Get started today by visiting BetUS.com or at 1-800-MyBetUS to learn more. That's 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS.com, sport booking casino where the game begins.
Your home reflects you, your style, your choices. That's why purchasing a home is not just financially significant, it's personal too. At F&M Mortgage, we understand clients need a loan that's just as personal, one that fits you with service from a local lender who lives right here. Yes, we offer competitive rates and low closing costs, but we also know home financing should be more than just numbers. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Real estate investors, get ready for an incredible opportunity. D&M Development is thrilled to announce the Phase 1 presale of 16 non-owner occupied short-term rentals in Nashville's exclusive resort-style community, the New Cumberland. Nestled between Germantown and East Nashville, this exceptional location offers stunning views of the city and the Cumberland River. Each unit features spacious kitchen, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths, providing the ultimate luxury experience for your guests. Resort-style pools and a wide range of amenities. Don't miss out on this exclusive investment chance. Visit thenewcumberland.com for more information and secure your spot in this extraordinary community.
This year, Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee celebrates its 120th anniversary. Through time, BGCMT continues to evolve to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible leaders. Because of your continued support, BGCMT has remained strong and is committed to supporting our youth and solidifying our mission and culture in new exciting ways for 120 years. Visit bgcmt.org today.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
The suit is in the building.
3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch.
3 hours. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Can you explain to me the Ryan Tannehill being in for 3 snaps, turn around, handing the ball off 3 times on Friday night?
I mean, I can explain it to you. It doesn't mean you're going to like it or I'm actually going to believe it. I mean, I think it's just all about operation and just getting out there, getting the plays from Tim Kelly and running through some plays. I kind of, look, I understand this team's had injuries. I mean, believe me, we've all reported on them. But if you're that afraid of him getting hurt, I just wouldn't take him and put him out there just to hand it off 3 times. You could call pass plays where, he's going to get rid of the ball. I mean, you saw Patrick Mahomes and all these quarterbacks do it. They get it, and they just sling it out to the right side to a wide receiver or a running back and then just kind of go. But, look, it's the preseason. If they want to go out there and just, work on operation, then that's fine. What's stunning is Tannehill goes out there for 3 plays, and like Danico Autry's out there for 3 series.
Yeah, right.
I was stunned. I was thrilled because he was awesome to watch. I mean, that guy was a wrecking ball. So it was fun to see the defense play as much as they did.
That was Corey Curtis, News 2, joining Robbie and Rex Road earlier today. My thoughts exactly. Why are you going to put Ryan Tannehill in and just have him hand the ball off 3 times? Don't give me this whole – and, Corey was explaining what it was. I'm not picking on Corey, but procedure. He knows procedure. Doesn't need help with that. Doesn't need to practice that. If you're going to play him in the preseason game, let him play. Just drop some safe throws for him and let him go. But they didn't. And they, it was just kind of I didn't see the point in it. Just let Malik Willis play the whole game at that point and go with it. The question is, going into this season, and there are a lot of sub-questions to the giant question. Offensive line, who the hell knows? Wide receiver, okay, you feel good about DeAndre Hopkins, and you feel good if Treylon Burks can come back and be healthy. And then beyond that, get what you can. The run game, I feel good about the run game with Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. Defense, overall, I feel pretty good about the defense. But the question is now that this is truly Mike Vrabel's team. John Robinson is gone. Ran Carthon is here. It's a collaboration. But it's Mike Vrabel's team. How much do you trust Mike Vrabel to get the job done? Now, look, I've been hard on him at times. I kind of went off earlier today, about sometimes his attitude and I know more than you. Overall, I think Mike Vrabel is a good head coach. And I think he has done a good job since he's been the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Now, they haven't won a championship. They've made it to the AFC title game. He's had to deal with some bad draft picks from John Robinson. He's had to deal with injuries. I mean, there are things, beyond his control that he's certainly had to navigate through, and I think he's done a pretty good job in doing that. And I'll give him credit for that. But then there are times where he's done some of this to himself. I think he's been a little arrogant at times when it comes to the kicker and evaluating the kicker and thinking that, it's just the kicker and we'll figure it out. It hadn't really worked out that way. I think he's handling the quarterback situation fine with Malik Willis and Will Levis and not naming a backup. I have no issue with that. But overall, there's been some personnel hires that he's made. Like Todd Downing was a bad move. Todd Downing he couldn't get Tim Kelly, so he just settled with Todd Downing And even after the first year, he still brought him back. Now, that's on him. And it was the wrong move. That one I can't write that one off. So how much do we trust the moves that he's made now? On paper, I think this is the best coaching staff that he's ever had, that he's ever put together from top to bottom. I like this coaching staff. Now, I know the I guess the one that I still need to see on is Craig Aukerman. And I know I'm waiting for Jared to text me like, Craig Aukerman sucks. But I know, and I would say that that's the one that needs the most evaluation is special teams. Because special teams overall, even though, I think he has said it's important to, all three phases, I feel like special teams doesn't always get the attention that it needs from the Titans. So that's certainly one. In fact, Vrabel was asked, if he was pleased with all the changes that he's made to the coaching staff.
Some of the coaching changes, obviously, Kelly's a new coordinator. Going through a preseason and actually seeing how they work on the sideline or in the booth, you pretty pleased with all the changes at this point as you head into the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, it'll all, we got a long way to go. Justin's upstairs. I like the communication that he has with Tim and, getting a call in and that communication and conversations in between, but we're a long way away. We got a long way to go, and as we prepare, but so far so good.
Got a long way to go. Well, Mike, the season opens up a week from Sunday, so I hope the long way gets figured out before then. That worries me.
Maybe a pit stop in between then and there.
Something. I mean, I think if you're gonna get it figured out, maybe this week. that might be
the
good.
best route. Yeah, I'd prefer this week rather than week 4, week 5.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want to go into the season and it's like, we got a long way to go. Well, okay, well, you realize the season started, and I know what he means. I mean, I go back to the procedure. There are some procedural things that they're kind of working through. Like, I like that Tim Kelly's on the sideline. I've always felt the coordinator should be on the sideline because of the player interaction, because they can have somebody in the booth that may see something that can say, hey, you might want to go with this play. That's fine. But then they can go and they can talk to their group. And, some of the position coaches that are down there can go talk to their group and work through things in the game. Whereas I know they have the phone or the headset on the sideline and they can do it that way too. But I just think that face-to-face interaction where you're sitting there with the iPad or with the Surface and you're drawing the play and kind of looking at the play, used to they'd print the sheets off there on the sideline. Well, now they're just on the Surface tablet and they can look at the overhead view of the play in the game. I just think there's a huge benefit for having that interaction on the sideline. And so I like that Tim Kelly's down on the sidelines, with his group, and can work with Tannehill and work with the receivers and the running backs and everybody there on offense and the offensive line, because we all know that is going to continue to be a work in progress, probably well into the regular season. Mike Vrabel was asked specifically about Andre Dillard, who played into the third quarter, and if he's seen enough out of the O-line.
Did you see what you wanted to see?
I mean, at times, again, that entire group, there's just too much inconsistency. And as we work through, some different runs and being able to, some of the stuff that I think we should be able to nail no matter what it is. We've been running it since May. We got to be able to get going and block it better. Some of the new ones I get, okay, we see a different look and this happens, but I would just say that group in general, we have to have a great week.
Have to have a great week, according to Mike Vrabel. I mean, he was honest. They are inconsistent, and there's too many inconsistencies. But if this is stuff that you've had in since May, and this is pretty much the group that you've had since May, I can't remember when we found out Petit Frere was going to be suspended for the first 6 games, but I mean, you've known that for a good while too. You kind of wouldn't you hope that you have it figured out by now? that you kind of knew that, all right, well, we got it. I think everybody's on the same page, and it doesn't sound like that is the case. And it sounds like to me, we talk about the kicking carousel, there's going to be in some ways like whether it's right tackle or what have you, you're going to have some pieces moving in and out until they find ones that stick, and that's just a dangerous game to play, of changing pieces of the offensive line out every week. And it just feels like that's where they're at.
There are too many carousels going on, Chase.
Way
The
too
Wilson
many.
County Fair was last week. Would rather not have the carousels keep on going. We already had a kicker carousel. You don't want an O-line carousel. You're about to get yourself into a wide receiver carousel with these injuries. This is a big pot of not good for the Titans right now going into this season.
No. So to answer the question, how much do we trust Mike Vrabel? I do trust Mike Vrabel. I do. At the end of the day, I trust him. I don't always agree with him, but I trust him. And so, I just wonder about the depth. And it kind of comes back to that, and that's not all on him. They made some tough decisions this year to part ways with some guys that they needed to. I mean, Taylor Lewan's pretty much retired. Ben Jones is out there, but I don't see him playing, with anybody. And it's kind of where they're at. And it may be a process that, even though this schedule is favorable and they do have some talent on defense, obviously, the offense, who knows, can they hang in this division? Maybe. But it could also be that the depth just catches up with them, and that's going to be a process that they're going to have to develop, over the next few years. They're going to have to add some draft capital to be able to do that. But that's just kind of where they're at. We'll ask Jonathan Hutton his thoughts on this coming up next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day one of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Don't miss a minute of football action while getting up close and personal to the future stars of the PGA Tour. Join Penn Entertainment on site at the Simmons Bank Open, promoting Penn Play and their sports online betting platform. Stop by their tent in the Arctic Tailgate Village during the tournament to learn more and have a chance to win some prizes and giveaways. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call Tennessee Redline, 1-800-899-9789.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Warmer months have you working overtime? Be sure to visit Parman Tractor and Equipment for all your New Holland tractor and bush hog needs. Swing by our store at 3570 Dickerson Pike in North Nashville or give our sales team a call. We're now offering 0% financing for 72 months on select New Holland tractors. Get the brands you trust from a local dealer like Parman, always ensuring totally outrageous customer service. Visit ParmanTractor.com for the best deals on equipment, New Holland tractor, bush hog, and more.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
It's the latest social networking thingy.
We are all over social media. Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game. You can follow me at Chase on Game. Also on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville and at the Chase McCabe. See, aren't we cool?
Chase McCabe on 1025 and 1063 The Game.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. As we do every Monday at 10:30, we say hello to Jonathan Hutton from Outkick, Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow, weekdays 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. Hut, what's going on? How are you?
Chaser, how are you, man? Hope the Monday's treating you well.
I'm feeling good because football is here. And so took in the Vanderbilt game Saturday night. It was just nice to see some live football again. Then obviously we got Tennessee in town taking on Virginia at Nissan Stadium this week. So it feels pretty good here in Tennessee to see some football.
Not bad.
Let's start with the Titans as they now go through the tough part. For any team, and that is going from 90 to 53. You know, there's some talented guys that are going to be cut and may land with other teams, but it's a numbers game, and it looks like this team is going to keep 3 quarterbacks, and so that's obviously going to take a spot from somebody. But with the quarterback, Mike Vrabel not willing to name a backup to this point, do you think he really needs to, or could he take this week to week by keeping both Malik Willis and Will Levis behind Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're screwed either way, Chase, if they get to the backup quarterback for a long-term issue or plan, because neither quarterback is ready to go. Willis has improved, but there are still big concerns that remain with his overall game. And then the fact that Levis has missed some time now, but even prior to that was not ahead of Malik Willis, that's also a concern of mine. If we're just point blanket there, they're keeping 3. And that's based on the improvement of Malik Willis. We should start with the fact that he has improved. He's shown the most improvement, I think, in his ability to bounce back from negative plays. But those negative plays, when those happen, are awful. I mean, the 2 picks in the final preseason game, awful. But we can see the strides that he's made. But at times, he doesn't trust what he sees. He reverts back to the player who's still in development mode. And that's fine for a developmental player, but backup quarterback in general across the league is really bad. But if Tannehill goes down, the Titans are in a world of hurt because Willis still needs to improve his decision-making in the pocket, reading the second-level defense. And, with his skill set, they would tailor a game plan to fit what he would bring to the offense instead of the wide-open playbook that they have right now with Tannehill. And you mentioned the 2 quarterbacks and, not announcing the backup. I mean, it would be to me, going into a game right now, you'd have your emergency quarterback designation, and then you'd have the backup. So every week we would know who's active.
Sure.
The emergency quarterback would not count against the active roster of 48 on game day. He could only play if the other 2 are hurt. But, I mean, if Tannehill's down, hypothetically here, this sounds crazy, but we could see games where you play both guys because there are games when Malik Willis is in there where they don't want to throw the football. And Will Levis, while he didn't wow us whenever he was playing, when we saw him briefly, at least he didn't make the huge mistake. And I think there are qualities to both areas there. But, man, I mean, going back to just the good of Malik Willis, the touchdown throw, the agility, mobility out of the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, throwing that pass to Chestnut. Well done. I mean, that is the type of play that you draft him for, where they drafted him. And that's the type of play that Will Levis will also be needing to make whenever he's given the chance.
I'm curious of your thoughts on this too, Jonathan. As Trey Lance gets traded to Dallas for a 4th-round pick, which is a head scratcher for Dallas in some ways, and in some ways it's Jerry Jones, so I'm not surprised. But if Levis were healthy and he was able to go through the full preseason, and we continue to see the improvement from Malik Willis, do you think there could have been a trade market for Willis? Maybe not a 4th-round pick. Obviously, I don't think you're getting the 3rd-round pick you spent on him back, but do you think there could have been some sort of trade market for him?
Potentially, but I honestly, the way that teams passed on Willis in the draft and where he fell, I don't get the sense that there's a massive trade value a year later. Meanwhile, with Trey Lance, while you have Shanahan and the 49ers who gave up 3 first-round picks and made that haul, and it's a huge error and mistake and a massive bust. There were certainly other teams that were drafting him in the 1st round. Maybe not at 3, but other teams certainly high on him. So I see where the trade. I mean, the guy that went number 3 overall got a 4th-round value, and in what we've seen last year, and a guy that was replaced by Joshua Dobbs receives a 5th in return plus a 7th to head to Arizona package with him. I don't know what type of value would have been out there for Willis, given the fact that if Levis is healthy and playing well and is the backup, Chase, teams probably know if they want him, they just wait till the cut down date as the Titans try to get him back on the practice squad. At least that would be my idea. That would be my approach, because if you're throwing in the towel on Trey Lance, and the Titans have already done that with Willis, which they haven't yet, you're waiting until the cut down date, and you're probably also viewing him as a practice squad player the same way that the team would be in this hypothetical question.
Jonathan Hutton is with us from Outkick, Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow, 2 to 5 weekdays on 94.9 The Fan. Mike Vrabel said that he continues to see some inconsistencies out of the offensive line and that they still have work to do. There's going to be some players available, but do you think that there's going to be anybody out there that's going to be an upgrade to what they currently have on this O-line with the Saints game being less than 2 weeks away?
Man, it's tough to say, because, it is my biggest concern with this football team that the offensive line sets the tone for the offensive identity of the Titans. It is Derrick Henry in the run game. It is the power game. It's the extra yard when you need it, the push. The Titans are the 5 new starters as they head to New Orleans. Questions across the board at every single spot. But first and foremost, it's the assessment that are the backups and the swing players that they brought in ready to be consistent starters. That's the same assessment you would be making for guys that hit the waiver wire right now, but you would be doing it as, okay, we're comfortable, because you're not finding starters on cut down day. Those guys are not going to be made available because offensive line play across the league, depth is bad across the league. So you're finding depth and swing talent at best, fringe roster players at best, who more than likely is your 7th or 8th offensive lineman on your roster and is inactive on game day. And those guys, to me, are pretty much all the same. A second string guy can be a third string guy, can then move back up to second string guy. I don't know, unless you're trying to make a trade, you're not finding that guy on the open market. And in my opinion, I'm not trading that guy either this close to the season. If you've got depth on the offensive line, you're one of only a handful of teams, if that. And you're not trading away that luxury this early into the season, given the fact that at that position, injuries can happen even if you're trying to keep guys healthy. Guys get rolled up on, you get pushed over the top of a pile, what have you. I'm viewing this more as, how do the Titans just stay adequate and just be okay up front? Of course, health plays a factor, but beyond that, Chase, how do they, if they can just be adequate, they can start scheming protections game by game and matchup to matchup. And that's huge. And if you have multiple holes and leaks and issues and inconsistencies and penalties like they did a year ago, you're handcuffed on what you can and can't do up front to protect your quarterback and to run the football. And that's the Titans lost their identity over the final 8 weeks of the season last year. And they're trying to get it back with guys who are coming. Al Shire's a great example on defense. He's a rotational backup special teamer, looking for an opportunity that now looks the part as a starter. Is Andre Dillard and Daniel Brunskill ready to be that version on the offensive line? That is the huge question with this team. And I think we feel pretty good about the guys that they brought in on defense to do that. The questions remain on offense, and it starts up front.
You mentioned Al Shire, and I'll throw Arden Key in this too. I
Sure.
really like what I've seen out of both of them, but
yeah,
you can make the argument that they're kind of like Delaney Walker, that they you knew a little bit about them, but Arden Key more so, but they weren't starters. And then they we all saw what happened with Delaney
Yes.
Walker. He became one of the best
That's a
players
great
in
example.
Titans history. That's what I kind of feel like they could be potentially getting out of both those guys.
But the difference is, if it at the time, and I'm right on board with you here, Al Shire and Arden Key are brought in, but keep in mind who they also have. They have Jeffrey Simmons. They
Right.
have Harold Landry. They have Danico Autry. So it's not as massive of a blow to the defense if one or two of those guys are just the same guy, like they've leveled out. If Andre Dillard is not starting quality, the Titans are going to suck up front on the offensive line. If Daniel Brunskill is just a rotational swing talent, and that's fine, he's a sixth man on an offensive line, that's fine if you have 5 others ahead of him. But if he's not, and you're putting him in next to, the new starter at center because Ben Jones isn't there, next to Hubbard at right tackle for at least 6 weeks until your second-year player gets back from a suspension. And then you're also starting a rookie who I honestly, up front, Skoronski's the player I have the least amount of concern about. He's the guy I'm not worried about one-on-one. The rest, again, it is a wait and see, because this is where you trade for Hopkins. Burks is healthy. You've got Tannehill back, Henry, all that's fine. But the offensive line is really where this team wins or loses because of 3-and-outs, penalties that set them back into second and third down and pass, and guys that are good, not great. Can they just elevate a bit and be consistent at that week to week to where you're not always cringing every time they snap the football and want to play action? They didn't run a lot of play action last year, and part of that's Downing because he didn't do it on 11 personnel that he ran primarily in Oakland when he was the play caller there. I think they want to get back to what they do very well, and that's run the football and then use that to work Tannehill off play action, work the middle of the field. If they can get the consistent offensive line play, Chase, if the guys step up the same way we're comparing them to the defensive effort, they'll be okay. But this is a team that's set up. They need to be good on offense and great on defense. And they can be great on defense. Can they be good on offense? You're not good scoring 16, 17 points a game.
Real quick, they got to figure kicker out, and this has been the carousel that they have been on for a long time. Now I'm paying attention to what happens in New England, what happens in New Orleans. I know the Chargers have had a battle too, but I feel like maybe one of the 4 from New England and New Orleans could end up kicking for the Titans. What do you think about that?
I mean,
you're talking about Blake Group, who's a rookie out of Notre Dame, Will Lutz, who's, I think, fine, Chad Ryland, Nick Folk.
Chase, bring anyone in you want to, and hopefully they start making kicks. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, here we go. We can only hope and pray that the 4th option this offseason is the one that sticks. They cut all 3 guys for good reason. They weren't good.
Right.
And the Titans, the Titans are playing in low-scoring games. The defense is average, before the bottom dropped out, and I'll keep it brief, Chase. Before the bottom dropped out last year, they're giving up 19 points a game or whatever it was. Excellent. But they're scoring 16 or 17. The Titans only made 7 field goals from 40 or more yards last season. The league average made was 13 from 40 plus per team. And that's a trust issue too. We're going to roll out the kicker to try this or not. They only attempted 24 total kicks. That's the lowest in the league. The league average was like 34. So 33 or 34. So they just need a kicker that they're at least willing to give it a boot with, a try. And they haven't had that last year, and they don't have one this year to even attempt that. That's a make or a miss. You can get away with it in Kansas City. 3 points is massive for a win or a loss for the Tennessee Titans and how they're built.
100%. And I have no idea if they're going to figure it out or not. So that's the scary part. Hey, always.
Is this 2019 or is this the year they find? They need to find out somewhere out there. There is a Brett Kern situation at kicker. Brett Kern was punting fine. Had he lost something? Maybe, but he was fine, consistent. But the younger, bigger, stronger leg beat him out. They need to find that version of Brett Kern at kicker and get him to Nashville on Wednesday at 4:00. He clears waivers.
100% agree. And people are texting in saying, because Mason Crosby put some videos out. He was kicking at Brentwood High. He lives here. If that's where they end up going for this year, I don't have any problem with Mason Crosby, but he's 38. If they could find one of these guys that, is a little younger that they could hang on to for a couple years, that would be my preference because
I heard
I'm tired of this.
In Shelbyville or Tullahoma this weekend, someone hit like a 48-yarder. So go sign that junior up.
There you go. That might be the answer. Hey, appreciate it as always, my friend, and we'll be listening today at 2:00.
Thank you so much, Chase. Always enjoy this. Have a great week.
You too. Jonathan Hutton, Outkick. Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow, weekdays 2 to 5, 94.9 The Fan. Check them out. Coming up next, I got to give my Cowboys thoughts. Trey Lance, what are they doing? We'll do that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Vanderbilt Commodores are ready for year 3 under head coach Clark Lee.
As we stand now in front of a clean sheet. Our goal is postseason play.
And we are your home for all of the action.
Touchdown, Vandy. The doors on the board. Vandy, 24-21, your final.
Vanderbilt football lives on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, football is here, and it's time to talk about Superbook Sports. They are my official sports book, and we did a little winning this weekend with some overs, with some unders. Nothing too crazy, but you can do it all on Superbook Sports. They are the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use my promo code CHASE, C-H-A-S-E, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. It's that simple. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who's your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? You also got college. Tennessee is a 28-point favorite in Nashville this week against Virginia. You can get that on the Superbook Sports app. Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Just download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today and use the Chase promo code. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report for doors and windows is in. Pella Windows and Doors are the leading brand among all others. A few reasons why. Pella is regarded as the highest quality, the most innovative, and the installers with Pella of Nashville lead the way for attention to detail. That's why Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of Pella's top locations in the country. For new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Calling all Nashville Sounds baseball fans. You know that 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is the best place to be before or after a Sounds game, but this season, it gets even better. Stop by 312 Pizza Company before or after any Nashville Sounds home game with your day of ticket and get a free old-style beer. That's right, you get a free old-style beer from 312 Pizza just for watching Sounds baseball. Only redeemable with purchase. See you at 312 Pizza Company all baseball season long. 312 Pizza Company, a proud sponsor of your Nashville Sounds.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment, the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S. The versatile lineup is built to help you make the most of your land. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months, plus save up to $800 on qualifying implements. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Visit Coleman Tractor, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House today.
Hey, do you need to listen on the go? Download the Game Nashville app from your app store today, and you can listen to us anywhere in the world. It's that simple. What an age we live in.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
I mean, I can't say that I necessarily expected it, no. I understand that that's business. I understand that they're probably on a timeline. They need to get something done. And as I said, he felt like that strengthened his team. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. You've been in this league 8 years, been on this team. It's hard to say that I was surprised, to be honest with you.
You did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
How about them Cowboys? That was Dak Prescott, Cowboys quarterback, talking about the trade for Trey Lance, as the Cowboys will get Trey Lance to be their new backup and part ways, and the 49ers part ways with a guy they traded up to get to take number 3 overall. They get a 4th-round pick in return for Trey Lance. And when I saw that trade, people were texting me, tweeting at me, asking me, like, what are your Cowboys doing? What do you think about that? And I mean – it's a Jerry move, and I think it's lighting a fire because, Dak has been disappointing at times. I mean, I like Dak, but Dak was, what, a 4th-round pick? I mean, I don't think anybody really expected him to be what he became, but at the same time, he can't get them over the hump. They beat Brady and the Bucs last year in the playoffs, but then they didn't go beyond that. And so, every year everybody looks at the Cowboys and the money that Jerry spends, and they should be, up top of the league and competing for the Super Bowl, and they're not. And I don't think Trey Lance is going to be the answer, but I think Trey Lance needed a change of scenery. And so, maybe he comes in and he does light a fire under Dak, and it takes him to where they need to go. And at the same time, it's an insurance policy because we've seen Dak have to battle injuries. And so maybe you like what you see in Trey Lance enough that you trust him more than Cooper Rush to be the backup, because that's basically the decision you're making right now. I thought it was a little awkward that they make the trade and then they're like, yeah, we're going to cut Will Grier, but we're going to let him go play the preseason game and showcase his talents, so to speak. But so that's what they ended up doing. But I think there are a lot of people that have questions about this, including Jeff Darlington, ESPN. He talked about the Trey Lance move.
Why do this? And anybody who's suggesting that Trey Lance can compete with Dak Prescott, I think that whether you like Dak or not, how can you not admit that Dak Prescott is clearly better? Kyle Shanahan, who knows quarterbacks better than anybody, he has done great things with lesser quarterbacks, and he gave up on Trey Lance. And now all of a sudden the Cowboys think that they're going to make him better. I hate to be so close-minded. I just don't understand this move.
I'm kind of with Jeff Darlington. I'm kind of with him on that, Kyle Shanahan is the quarterback whisperer in the National Football League, and he couldn't make him great or adequate. And so they got rid of him. And now all of a sudden you think that McCarthy and his crew, that they're going to make him better. I'm going to say no. Our own Teron Davenport was on ESPN and kind of gave his thoughts on this situation, said he doesn't blame Dak for potentially being upset.
I could definitely see Dak being unhappy about this or not pleased, because here it is. I'm supposed to be the guy.
Right.
And you're bringing in someone else who has that first-round sticker, that top 5 pick sticker on him. You're bringing him in. What does this say? And then knowing that in 2 years, there's a way to have a split and it be somewhat reasonable, and then go figure in those 2 years, they can exercise that option, the 5th-year option on Trey Lance. So you have to wonder, like, is this something that you guys are doing knowing that we're discussing some things about an extension? Are you doing this as leverage against me, as insurance in case we can't hammer a deal out? That's what I would be wondering if I was Dak.
I think that's 100% what they're doing. I'm with TD. I think that's what they're doing, and TD does a great job on ESPN. So that was cool hearing him talk about other things other than the Titans. But I we'll see. I agree with Jeff Darlington. I don't think this is a competition, for the starting quarterback. This is still Dak's team. But insurance policy, leverage, things like that, I think it's fair to say that maybe that's what it is. But time will tell, that is for sure. But that was a little bit of a head-scratcher that came through on Friday. Hey, I haven't had the chance to talk about this real quick as we wrap things up. We've done a lot of wrestling here on the show, but I was off Friday. The passing of Bray Wyatt, Terry Funk, was very, very just sad, especially Bray Wyatt. We're the same age, 36 years old, and just tremendous talent and the creativity that he had with his characters. And I say characters plural because there were so many different evolutions of Bray Wyatt, the character, from when they first came on the scene with the Wyatt family to the Fiend to this thing that we unfortunately never got to see with Uncle Howdy and that whole storyline. We never got to see it finish, but just really sad. I thought WWE and the other promotions did a great job with their tributes to Bray, but just was definitely tough news to see that he had passed away at the age of 36. So wanted to throw that out there as we wrap things up. That is going to do it for me. Coming up next, Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. They'll have full reaction to the Titans preseason finale. And what's next for the kicker? Got to talk about kicker. That's next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.